Hey guys, welcome back to Interesting Weird and Wild Rift. So today we are back with a Senna updated complete guide. Now, of course, Senna, in my opinion, her best build is going to be her tanky build, the one you see here, like not taking Kraken Slayer but taking Grasp and basically just building full tank. So with this build, you basically do, obviously you do a lot less damage because you're building tanky, but you still do a decent amount of damage, and the main thing is you're really difficult to kill, and because of that, most of the time, the main plus point of this build is enemies get baited into overcommitting on you because they think you're squishy, but in reality you're really tanky, so you put them in a lot of bad situations, and whether they get baited or not, you're still gonna be alive for a much longer time, and you're gonna have to provide a lot more utility from your team, just because of course when you're alive you can heal them, you can shield them, but if you're dead you're gonna be doing none of those. So yeah, so let's go straight into talking about her build. So basically, first up, your support item. It's gonna be a choice between Spectral Sickle and Relic Shield. So last time it kind of used to be always Sickle and it was like always Relic, and now it basically is either or. So basically, with Sickle, you get AD and you heal a little bit more when you proc your Sickle, but with Relic Shield, it's of course a lot safer and a lot easier to proc on minions, and at the same time it gives you health. So basically, my overall conclusion is, if you are able to easily proc Sickle, you can go for Sickle. If not, then just go for Relic Shield. So for example, if you're against a Draven Leona, you don't want to be stepping up to proc your Relic to proc your Sickle, so then you can go for Relic Shield instead. So your first item is going to be your defensive boots. It can of course be steel caps, or it also can be merc treads, depending on the damage profile of the team. Enemy team, but most of the time you probably gonna start with plated steel caps because you're in the bot lane, and because of that, you are pretty much always going to be against an ADC, so plated steel caps pretty much always going to be helpful. So then we're going to jump into our first item, Heartsteel. Now of course Heartsteel is one of the brand new items from patch 5.0, and with Heartsteel it gives you 700 max HP, more health regen, 20 ability haste, and of course whenever you are within 700 units of an enemy champion, you're going to start stacking up. And when you proc, this is gonna of course deal physical damage equal to 120 plus 5% of your max health, and also gives you max health equal to 15% of the damage you dealt. So of course what this means is it's slowly gonna scale up, and it's gonna give you every time you proc it, it's gonna give you more health, and when you get more health every time you proc it, you're gonna get more damage. So overall it gives you more health, more damage, more health, more damage, which also ties into our runes later on, which we will of course talk about. So next, we are going to go for Iceborne Gauntlet. So Iceborne Gauntlet is just a really good item on Senna because, firstly, it gives you health, which is going to make you more tanky and tie into your Heartsteel. And then it's also going to give you armor. Really good stat, of course. It's going to give you mana, which Senna has huge mana issues, as you'll see later on, and also ability haste, allow you to spam your spells more, and of course the spell blade. So the main important part of the spell blade is on your auto attack, or even your Q, which can proc on hit effects. You're going to be able to basically generate a slow field, which is going to provide a lot of utility for your team, and at the same time you're going to do a lot of additional damage as well. And then I actually like to go into Maw. So Maw now gives you the other side, which is going to be the AD is going to and actually, we don't have any AD in our build yet, by the way. We don't, no AD from here, no AD from here. So this is the first AD we're actually getting in our build. So we go for Maw. Maw gives us the AD, gives us the magic resist, and of course, also the Demon Bane passive, which is going to allow us to generate a magic damage shield. Now, if they don't have any magic damage on the enemy team, if they're full physical, which is of course possible, you can instead go for one of the other items over here. So you could go for maybe we'll cover all the alternative items later on. So the last item I go for is Runans. I think Runans is really good at this point to attack 3 people at the same time. Also gives you a little bit of AD, and basically allows you to proc your passive on the 3 people at one go. Really useful item. But of course your Runans can be swapped out with another item, and so can Maw if there's no magic damage. I've seen almost no team that has no physical damage, so Iceborne Gauntlet is pretty much always going to be there. So first option you have is going to be Serpent's Fang, which of course is pretty much your anti-shield option. Now this is not very ideal for tank Senna, but if your team really needs anti-shield, let's say they have a Lux mid and a Karma support, you have to go anti-shield, and not, your team will never be able to eat through the shields on the enemy team, so you have to go for this. You of course have your Black Cleaver, which is just really good item stat-wise, and just, yeah, really good solid item overall. You can easily replace Maw or Hurricane with this. And then you have your anti-heal options, which is going to be more a reminder if you need Armor Pen as well as Grievous Wounds. But honestly, most of the time you probably want to go for Kempang Chainsword, which is going to give you health to make you tankier, ability haste, and more attack damage, and so pretty much Kempang Chainsword is going to be a better option majority of the time. And you can of course swap the Maw for something like a Frozen Heart as well. Frozen Heart, of course, very useful against full AD teams, which is basically the main point of when you go Frozen Heart. Because normally when they have a full AD team, they're gonna have multiple auto attackers. Like think like, of course, they have an ADC. Let's say they have a Master Yi in the jungle. They have like a Yasuo mid, and you're gonna get a lot of value from Frozen Heart. And your last item is one of the new items, Titanic Hydra. Of course, this gives you a lot of health, and of course, it's also going to, proc damage equal to your bonus health. So this could tie in really well, but I don't like the item too much personally, so I don't really go for it. And now we're going to talk about the runes. So the runes, of course, we have Grasp. So Grasp, basically, after you're in combat for a while, you can proc the Grasp, and that Grasp will basically grant you permanent health and will do damage based on your health. So of course, we know that this basically is allows you to gain health, and you do damage based upon your health as well. So this ties in very well to this build where you build a lot of health and you gain a lot of health. So basically, the later and later game you go, you're gonna get more and more health from Heartsteel, more and more health from Grasp, and this is gonna make Grasp do more damage, Heartsteel do more damage, and all the works basically. So the more and more late game you get, the stronger and stronger you get. And also, of course, Senna, the later game you go, the more souls you get. So the more range you get, the more crit you get, the more AD you get, etc, etc. Then we go for Nullifying Orb for that shield. You have Bone Plating, of course, for the anti-burst in lane as well as in late game. And of course, we go for Overgrowth, which once again lets you gain a lot of extra maximum health. So lastly, we generally go for Giant Slayer because it's pretty much the rune that gives you like the most amount of damage. Where if you're against not a very tanky team, which in this game I wasn't against a very tanky team, so I probably should have taken Transcendence instead for the better cooldowns, or you could even go for Mana Flow Ban, because you do have mana issues. And finally, because you're a support, for the spells you want to go for Flash, and you want to go for either Exhaust if your ADC doesn't have it, or Heal majority of the time. Something I didn't mention is your support item. So most of the time it depends on how you want to go. So I like Locket the most personally, because I think a team-wide shield combined with your ulti, or just like having a team-wide shield at any time is very helpful against AoE. If you want to be selfish, you can go for Stasis, but since you're building tank, you don't really need this. Of course, your other option is going to be Redemption to be supportive, and your final option is going to be the Revival enchant, which is of course going to increase your healing on your allies. So with all that out the way, we can finally move on to our gameplay. Okay, so now we're hopping into our gameplay. Now, as usual, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll of course be sure to address them. Okay, so in this game, you can see we're actually going for Spectral Sickle, because in my opinion, it's pretty easy to walk up against like Caitlyn and Veigar to basically attack them. Like Veigar, as long as his cage cooldown is down, you can easily just walk up to him and just trade with him. He barely does any damage in the early game, so even if he hits you with like his Q, you can pretty much just heal it back with your own Q, so not too important there. Whereas with Caitlyn, her main strength is her range. But in case you guys didn't know, Senna has the second longest range out of all ADCs, if you even count Senna as an ADC. Same range as Ashe. So really, Caitlyn barely has a range advantage against Senna. She almost has the same range as Senna, just slightly longer range. And to be able to abuse that, you have to be a very good Caitlyn player, which not too many people are. So basically, Caitlyn can't really abuse us with her range because we have really high range as well. You can see that we're actually abusing the Caitlyn, and she's actually at 1 HP. We prompt the grass on the Veigar. Root goes on as well. He flashes, to safety, and we get another quick trade with the Caitlyn. So you can see, Senna is actually a really big lane bully. Basically against like tanks, like support tanks, she easily bullies them. Against Enchantress, not so much, but against a lot of ADCs, if you don't know how to handle a long-range ADC, basically Senna is almost like the support version of Caitlyn. Like, she's really long-range, so you can very easily just bully enemy ADCs, especially if they're the short-range ones like Samira or Lucian or things like that. Really easy, just step up and just bully them, and they really can't do anything. Which is why in these particular scenarios, Relic Shield is really good, because it charges up really fast, because you can constantly auto attack them and charge up your Relic Shield. Yeah. So of course, if you're playing Senna, obviously you're basically playing Senna as a support, so you're gonna basically need either an ADC or an APC, you know, for this to work. So in this case, I have one of the really strong combos, which is Senna and Seraphine. Reason why this is really strong is because has so much utility. You have, of course, healing from Senna's Q, you have shielding from Senna's Locket as well as her R, and then you also have combined it with the shielding from Seraphine's W and healing if she double casts it. Basically, the whole goal is in team fights you group up, Senna and Seraphine group up with the team, and you know that you just press all of your shielding together basically, and the enemy team basically cannot do any damage to you while you are destroying them. So here, both junglers are in the lane. Lilia comes over, walks straight into the stun, and Rengar is here as well. So it's kind of a 3v3 in the bot lane for a while. Really strangely, both junglers are just sticking around the lane, which is something very uncharacteristic. So here I'm popping the Shroud, you know, to prevent, you know, Rengar from jumping on us. Rengar isn't even at the tip of the bush, he's somehow at the other edge of the bush. And I say that because he's actually here when you ward, so I have no idea why he's spending so much time in the bush. And I don't know why Lilia is here spending so much time here either, so I'm really no idea what's going on here. It's like super duper weird. Both junglers are hanging out in bot lane. Rengar goes in, eats a sleep from Lilia, and Lilia finishes him off together with my ult for the shield on Seraphine as well. So a little bit of damage on Rengar. Me and Seraphine pick up an assist, and we are, you know, we were thinking of backing, but since the enemy team hard pushed the wave in, we can actually collect the wave under tower, or we thought we could. So here Veigar basically makes a play of walking up and pressing ult, and not too much I can do. You know, I don't really do any damage, so I can't really trade the kill or punish, despite the fact that he took a tower shot. Yeah, nothing too much I can do there. That's kind of how just Veigar works. So here we're going to pick up our plated steel caps, of course, against the enemy team. They do have 3 physical damage dealers on the enemy team, of course inclusive of the Caitlyn, who I think is going to be a bigger problem than Veigar in the laning phase. So I went for the plated steel caps to kind of counter Caitlyn. Really strong boot item. Honestly, I think that the tank, the 2 tank boots are like pretty much the 2 strongest boots, but of course generally carries wouldn't want to go for those, but I do think that they're really strong. So we're just waiting for Seraphine to hit back to lane. We're gonna control ward to get control of that bush over there, the vision of that bush over there. And Veigar has roamed mid for some reason, which actually does help his team to pick up a kill onto the Lilia. So here we know that Caitlyn is alone, so we can just step up and bully her. We somehow don't land the root on that. Until now, I still don't know how that's the case. I really thought that root would have hit, and I think Caitlyn would have been in so much more trouble if that was the case. If that hit, Seraphine can full combo her. And here I actually spot a fight happening at the top lane, so I actually ulti to give them the shield, and the ulti actually manages to nick the kill. So here I'm going to block the Caitlyn ult for Seraphine. Unfortunately, Seraphine goes down to Veigar ult once again. Once again, Veigar just presses the win fight button and just scores another kill. Yeah, the cross map ult was pretty nice, but honestly it was kind of unintentional, not gonna lie, at all. It was kind of meant for the shield, but ended up kind of KSing the kill instead, which, you know, hey, happens sometimes. Also actually hits the Zoe and removes her first strike pretty crucially, and also gives me and Seraphine a shield. So overall, that was one of the highest value Senna ults I've ever casted. Like, it shielded 2 of my teammates, got me a kill, removed Zoe's first strike, shielded me and Seraphine as well to prevent ourselves from taking damage. Like, that's one of the highest value ultimates I've ever used on Senna. It basically had 6 users there or something like that. So now we're back in lane trying to crash the wave because it's in a pretty horrible spot. Objectives have already spawned. My team is fighting over at the Herald with the enemy team. My ult takes a little bit to come up, so in the meantime we're just skirmishing with the Veigar and the Caitlyn. Caitlyn combos me together with the Veigar, pops the ult, Seraphine helps me block, but I wasn't gonna die to it anyway, but I would have been pretty low though, and could have been a little bit of a sticky situation if Veigar came in with the flash ult or something like that. So really good of Seraphine to help me block the ulti there. Seraphine walks into the stun, and I'm basically able to save her with the heal from my Q. Remember that your Q is not just meant for damage, it's also meant for healing, so sometimes you can just use it for healing. Veigar tries to flash Q Seraphine, but Seraphine you know, manages to predictively ult, and Veigar flashes straight into the Seraphine ult, into the tower, and into his death. Pretty well played by the Seraphine there. And now, obviously, as you guys know, we're building first item Heartsteel. So you're getting pretty tanky already with the item completed. Even before the item completed, just like Heartsteel plus like plated steel caps, you're actually really tanky already, because Heartsteel 700 HP is a ton. And yeah, Heartsteel, of course, it did get buffed in like the hotfix of patch 5.0, so it's really it got even stronger than what it already was. I actually thought Heartsteel was in an okay spot, but yeah, so Heartsteel is not an even stronger item. And yeah, so I don't think the replay tool actually shows how much stacks of Heartsteel you have. We'll have to see if when we prop the Heartsteel whether it shows or not. But at the end game screen, I know that it does show that, so you will be able to see how many Heartsteel stacks we get eventually. So here you can see that we're basically just out trading the Caitlyn, because we do not too much damage, but we're so tanky that she can't really do damage to us. A really nice stun there. Unfortunately, Veigar pops the stasis. I try to exhaust to slow him down, and he actually survives. I try to flash forward to finish the kill, but ends up I attack Caitlyn instead, force her flash, and both Veigar and Caitlyn are left on 1 HP, which is a really unfortunate situation. We definitely kind of deserve to get a kill there. Now, Seraphine walks straight into Rengar, who is able to pretty much one-shot her, and I actually back off because I saw Zoe and I panicked, but honestly, Zoe was pretty busy with the Fizz, so I probably should have just gone and committed to the kill on Rengar, since he was really low, and I definitely could have actually gone in for that kill. So now, Fizz is over here with me in the lane. I'm just trying to get my souls. Fizz jumps straight into a Caitlyn trap, eats basically every form of CC, and ends up eating the Caitlyn ult that was aimed at me. But honestly, even if I sidestepped and prevented him from getting hit by that, he was dead anyways, and he didn't even complain in the chat. I think he knew it. Like, whether he got hit by that Caitlyn ult or not, he was going to be dead. So speaking of dead, I don't want to be dead, so I'm just going to quickly back and go back to base, restore my health, and mainly my mana. And I'm going to pick up the Sheen, which is of course going to be useful for my damage, which I'm severely lacking, of course, because I'm going for a tank build. So here Veigar is really overextended. We are basically here just catching him out, and he's just dead. I don't even think that there was a flash needed there by the Lilia, but she flashes anyway. Now me and Seraphine are trying to contest the dragon. Two-man contest the dragon. The Rengar actually secures the dragon, and here we're hitting Zoe on the side. So I'm trying to focus Zoe, who is kind of caught out of position. I get the root on her, and we are able to basically just blast her down. I'm trying to proc my Heartsteel, but Zoe keeps getting out of range, which is pretty annoying. So here we're trying to chase her down. I'm going to go for the flash root here, and I do get the flash root. She gets rooted down, and I actually pick up a shutdown. I didn't even know that Zoe actually had a shutdown, but here Yone comes in, and you can see with the exhaust that I popped, we basically take almost no damage. Yone lives on 1 HP, unfortunately, and I'm trying to head over to finish the kill onto Yone. I actually attacked the Caitlyn by mistake when I should have been attacking the Yone, and here I'm caught out of position myself. But just because of how tanky I am with the Heartsteel and with the shields and heals from Seraphine as well as myself, I'm actually able to survive, which is pretty absurd if you really think about it. So here Lilia is going to clear out the mid wave, and I'm pretty much just going to stick around to make sure that I can pick up all of these juicy souls. Here I'm picking up the fruit to get enough to ulti, because the fight's still ongoing. I give my team a shield, but nothing too much is going on. I'm recalling while the fight is still ongoing, so we're going to take a look at the fight here. You can see Zoe as well as Yone are kind of on the chase for my team. Yone is really low. He goes down to Lilia. Zoe is going in, gets knocked up by Aatrox. Gets knocked up again by Aatrox, gets pulled back. She's not really low, and now from base, I'm actually reaching the scene of the crime. And here, I'm just going to quickly go again, flash root combo onto the Zoe once more. And she does end up going down once more. So here, Rengar is kind of on the chase for Seraphine. Unfortunately, I can't really save Seraphine. I tried my best, but not working out. And yeah, we've proc Heartsteel multiple times now. And actually, I do believe you can see the stacks. It's just so tiny that I can't make out what it is. Like, you can actually see in the bottom right hand corner of Heartsteel, there are some numbers, but I can't see them. So I don't know if you guys can see them, but it looks like it's in the triple digits at the minimum now. So you can see that, we proc Heartsteel quite a bit, because despite the fact that Senna is very long range and you don't really want to stand really close to anyone, inevitably people are going to be near you, like Zoe jumping on you, Rengar jumping on you, same goes for Yone, you know, etc. So inevitably people are going to get close to you, and when that happens, once again, inevitably you can proc Heartsteel. So Heartsteel's going to get procced throughout the game, not as often as maybe a melee champ, but it's going to get procced pretty often. So yeah, it's really good, of course, that you can proc Heartsteel pretty easily. Alright, so here we're actually somehow busy clearing the mid wave, and here we just break Zoe's crown. And yeah, you can see Zoe doesn't really do very much damage to us. We can pretty much heal it back. You can see that we're probably doing a little bit more damage to Zoe than what she actually did to us here. We actually get like 1/3 of her health just from auto-attacking her a couple of times. And now we're trying to deal with the wave, but we are trying to rotate because our team is gonna get caught out by Rengar and Zoe on the rotation. So Fizz does indeed get caught out. And yeah, we're a little bit too slow, unfortunately. So here initially I was thinking of recalling, but we kind of have to save the mid lane from this Caitlyn, or maybe even get a pick on her. Here I tried to ulti to help my team out with Caitlyn, but honestly they don't even need my help. I do get the assist though, so that's worth it now. You know, getting an assist is pretty alright. So actually, honestly, I'm doing pretty well. Despite the fact that I'm playing support, I actually have more gold than the Seraphine APC. I have way more gold than the Fizz and more gold than the Aatrox as well. And honestly, my goal is more than the entire enemy team except the Zoe. Because of course, we've been playing very well despite the fact we're not farming. We are, you know, keeping our I can't even say keeping our farm up, but we're getting a lot of gold somehow. I can't really explain it, I guess. Like, I guess we're farming kills and assists. Like, we are getting the kill and assist gold. So here again, I try to go for the flash W. This time it doesn't work. Third time's the failure. And we are still able to pick up the kill anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant whether we hit that or not. But yeah, unfortunately we don't actually hit it. So here once again, just collecting the souls. And we can pretty much just head back. So here we already have our, of course we got Heartsteel completed. We have our support item. Not support item, that's not important, but yes, support item is completed. But we have our locket completed. We also have our, of course, our Iceborne Gauntlet completed. And we're just in a pretty good spot in general. We're really tanky here. Of course, against AP, we're a little bit less tanky. We still have a lot of health, so we do have that, but we don't actually have any MR, which of course we're going to remedy with the Maw as our next item. Here Rengar is getting caught out, and he actually flashes, and that was actually a really good non-greedy flash, because if he didn't flash there, he would have gotten hit by Aatrox knockup into my root, and he would have basically just died. So really good job for him to not greed over keeping his flash. Here I managed to root Caitlyn into the Seraphine ult, and Rengar is the one that takes the fall for her instead. I was trying to chase down Caitlyn, but I realized a problem, which is my team is fighting on the other end. I'm trying to make it back to my team, which I do make it back to my Aatrox and my Seraphine. Zoe is getting caught out again. I land the root onto her, and she's taking a lot of damage. She ends up going down. Here we're chasing the Caitlyn and Yone. Now here I don't step on the trap. I was actually trying to hit Yone, but I'm hitting Caitlyn instead. Here Yone is going to burst down the Seraphine, but they end up trading 1-for-1. I hit my root onto Caitlyn, and I'm able to barely finish off the kill onto Caitlyn, and I actually go unstoppable now, 5-0 and 9. So me and Aatrox should be able to get this tier 2 tower with basically the whole enemy team aced. I'm just trying to fire on the tower. Aatrox is whacking the minions instead, unfortunately. And here we're grabbing the souls on our way out as well. Only Rengar is spawned, and he basically he's not gonna do anything. So we can recall at a relatively unsafe position, but it's really just safe because 4 people are dead and we can see Rengar, so it seems unsafe but is safe. So we get double Hex Drinker, which is of course gonna build into our Maw. And now we're gonna hit back out. Somehow no one is in mid lane, so apparently it's my responsibility to take care of mid lane, which is exactly what I'm doing here. So we're gonna pick up all of these souls, as well as a little bit of minions, and I'm actually gonna recall here because I believe I have enough to complete my Maw. There we go. So we complete the Maw, and here I'm launching the ult to try to help out my team in the fight, but they turned out to disengage, and the fight doesn't really end up happening. So here I'm picking up the blue buff because, you know, Senna is so mana hungry, uses up so much mana, we really need that blue buff. Of course it would have been pretty good on like Seraphine or maybe even Fizz, but Fizz is kind of feeding, so definitely not, but assuming he wasn't feeding, would be pretty good on him as well. So here we're just attacking stuff to try to build up our Moss Shield, which is not really, you know, really big right now. Looks like a team fight is gonna happen, so our job is kind of try to just catch someone out. We end up catching out the Rengar, not really me, but we. And here I'm trying to once again fish for a catch. Yone for some reason goes ahead and pops the fruit, so he basically lets me root him for free. I full combo him with all of my damage, and he tries to turn with the ulti, but I pop my my ulti as well as my locket, so we basically am taking no damage. I flash forward to chase down the Veigar. I'm barely able to finish up the kill on Veigar. I can see Veigar out barely did any damage to me at all. Didn't really even matter. And honestly, at this point, only Zoe is left alive, so we're kind of liberally just pushing down, making sure to use my Q to heal my team. We do get the tower, and here just look at what we're doing. Auto attacking Q. This full health Zoe, by auto attack with the grass prop. We hit the W, Q, auto, and we basically kill a Zoe 100 to 0 while she's under her Nexus and inhibitor tower. So, yep, Senna range incredible, and Senna damage, even though we're building tank, still respectable. You can see we didn't burst down the Zoe, but we took some time to kill her, but we did get the kill eventually through landing all of our spells pretty much. So, as you can see, that's the end of the game. I'm going to leave you guys with the stats, as you guys can see here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.